Hey guys, it's Caitlin again. So we are back for round 2 on this video. I've remade this video a number of times, but keep getting interrupted and whatnot. So we are going to do this again. So this is going to be for the Zip Grow garden tower here. And so far I am really super impressed. I actually really like this guy and it is an awesome set. I am really impressed. So I definitely think that, I'm gonna be honest, it's definitely a better quality than I thought it was going to be. I've gotten other company products and they have been higher end in price, but lower end in quality. And so when I got this, as you saw from my first video, check out that one so you know what we're doing here before this video. It's uploaded right before this one. It is a lot thicker and better quality and just more put together and well built, which is really nice. So I'm really impressed about that. Overall, I'm going to give this product an 8 out of 10, and I'm going to show you why here in just a minute, why it's not a 10 out of 10 right off the bat. Now, I haven't started growing in this. I do have some plants over here that you cannot see, over with my Click and Grows over there, that I am growing to put into here. I was going to see if I could just get some sprouts off of Amazon and just do it that way, just to make things faster for this video, but it's okay. We're going to go through this all together. So this one, I'm going to show you a little bit how to put it together. It's pretty simple. I'm hoping you guys aren't too far away, but I didn't want to put you too close so you could see it. But let me show you the size. So I have the 5-foot towers. There are 2 of them, though there is a space in the middle. I'm not sure if I can just buy another one of these to put in there. I'm pretty sure I can. I don't think there's a spacing issue because on other ones that I have seen, they are super close together. But it is super easy to put together and to take apart. They pretty much just go like this. And then you can just pop these off, just like that. And then I'm not going to take the top one off just because it's connected to the filter or the pump. The most time-consuming part was to put these on. There's one on the top, there's one on the bottom. Now, with those, that was the most time-consuming part. My husband came home and did it for me. He came home early from work and he was annoyed because, for those who don't know, he broke his leg and had to get surgery. He's been out of work since May and now he is on light desk duty. He's a construction worker, so now having to sit in a desk 24/7, well, 8 hours a day for work is really killing him. So when he came home and saw I was doing this, he was really excited. So he got his ruler and his level and everything and he went to town. He had fun. It was time consuming just for the fact of finding the studs and then putting it to the size that we needed, and he wasn't happy. It looked just a little bit off even though it was fine. So that was time consuming for him, but overall it was super easy to do. This here, for putting the bolts on, like I may have mentioned in the last video, because like I said, I've remade this a number of times, was kind of a pain in the butt for the fact of these here. It's super close to the edge, and without the proper tools, I had a wrench, but I didn't have the socket. I wasn't using a socket. My husband came home and he's like, duh, just use a socket. He did it and he whipped it out, tightened them for me, super easy. There are videos online for the 4 and the 8 tower system. I did find it a little bit challenging to find one for this system, which is the 2 tower system. Just for the fact that the 4 and the 8 have, or the other ones have a hole down here under it, and this one did not, and it came with 2 extra screws, so I was trying my hardest to figure out where those screws went. I've come to the conclusion that I'm pretty sure they're just extras. Overall, to put it together, super simple, but in my opinion, for me personally, as much as I love putting things together, I found myself just hurting my fingers more and more trying to screw these in. I think that for the price that I am paying, I would have rathered it just been done for me. It wasn't, like I said, time consuming. It's just kind of a pain to do. So, but if you like that kind of thing, and typically I do, then more power to you. There's lots of videos that show you how to do it, which makes it really easy. Now, on the videos, it says that these guys do not come sealed and that you will need to seal them yourself, which is super simple. They even show you the product to use. It's like a caulking glue. Mine actually came already done, which I mentioned in the first video. It was already caulked for me, so I didn't have to do anything. So we hooked it up, and Came back about 15 minutes later and the entire base was empty and the pump was running on no water. And the directions on the pump say not to let that happen. So what happened is this guy here is caulked very well and it has no leaks. This one over here, the entire bottom is not sealed tight at all. This one has way less caulking on it and I don't know what happened, but the entire thing was leaking bad enough that this entire thing was empty, and this thing holds a lot of water. So thankfully we hadn't left yet. We were just getting ready to leave and I wanted to come check on it, and I slipped in the water, and then I was like, okay, we gotta stop this. I don't know what would have happened if we would have left. We left for about 3 hours, so running on empty, I don't know. But thankfully we caught it. Easy fix. We'll just caulk it up. We do have to get it all super dry for that, and then we will close it up and seal it. But I'm going to show you how to put it together real quick. It's, like I said, it's super easy. And as far as the 8 out of 10, the 8 out of 10 is for the fact that it wasn't caulked all the way, but it's an easy fix. I just think that if they were going to caulk it, they should have tested it or just not caulked it at all. And also for the fact that there's no directions. It did not come with any written directions whatsoever. You have to find them on the website, and I found that very challenging for the 2 system because it's a little bit different than the 4 and the 8. And from what I've noticed, there's supposed to be a little round ball that goes underneath the bottom here to help support the weight. I did not get one of those. I have not found it anywhere. My house is pretty darn clean, and I opened it up on the table that was clean, so I know I didn't lose it. I just haven't found it, if it's there. But again, I can buy them on their website, so it's not a huge deal, but the little things is what's made the rating go down just a little bit for the initial setup. But I think it's gonna go back up once I start planting, so we'll see. Okay, so, and then when you're putting it together, make sure that you put these on correctly. If you flip them over, this bottom part will be flush, and then you won't be able to put it on. Put the nuts on the outside, bolts and washers on the inside. I hope those are the correct terminology on those. And then we just come over here and it just sits right on there. So, super, super simple. For the top, the piping was not connected to it, and it would have taken somebody less than 2 minutes to put it together. And that was another thing, even though it was super easy for me, it would have just been nice to have it all set up and ready to go. That way, if I were to buy a bunch of them or whatever, I could just put them to the wall, knock it out really quickly, and be done with it. So, super easy. You just put it there, level the droppers to the 2 holes where they're going to go, and then zip tie it to the top. Super easy. For this guy here, this tube, it was a little bit long, so we just cut it down. This one up here was also a little bit too long, so we just cut it down and then bent it and zip tied it shut and connected 2 of them. The filter came with a ton of extra stuff so that you could do different sizing and whatnot for the thickness on what's going to attach to it. We just used the smallest one, not a big deal. And my husband did cut it just slightly too short on this here, so that it just barely sits in the bottom, which is kind of a pain for us, but it's not a big deal because it still works just well. Let's see. So I think that's pretty much all of it. Now I'm going to show you how you would plant in these guys. Now that, what are you 2 doing? Now that I know, it's going to come with this little doodad here, which we are going to use. And it's going to come with this felt as well. And I think I'm going to have to move you guys over so that you can watch me do this. So let's see if I can turn y'all around a little bit. Yay! Look at that. Okay, so now I have seen videos for 2 different ways to do this, and I don't really understand why they prefer the one way over the other, so we're actually going to find out here in just a sec. So, let's see why I can't come out this side. Oh, so they already did it. Okay, so there are 2 different sizes on this. and it looks like they already folded it in half. So on the video, so they look like this, and they're folded in half. I don't really know why it's not one big long piece. That's just two of them, but it's okay. It came with everything I need, so it's not a big deal. So, see, it came with two of them versus one bigger one. Okay, so all you've got to do this guy's already folded in half. Now they say to lay it over the top just a little bit so that the water goes more easily through it. And then what you would do is plant in there. I don't have any plants to plant right this second, but I will show you. So what we're going to do is we're going to slide it back in. So you would put your plant in and then slide it, and then put more plants in and slide it. Depending on what you're growing, you are going to need to space them accordingly to what you need for that. And I totally put it in backwards, so hang on here. Because you want to have this at the top of the tower. This is the bottom of the tower. It is flat on the bottom down here, whereas it's not up there. Okay. So again, I will just do this one. Super easy, guys, which is really nice for my life with 4 small kids. Easy is amazing. Okay. There we go. It is set and ready to go. You can see the white in there, so that, and then it's going to be like this, so that way when the water trickles down, it's going to soak into this, which is going to water all your plants going down, which is super nice. Sorry, Walter. So that is pretty much it. Let's put you back over here a minute. And then to hook them up, there you go. That is how you set it up. Super, super easy. And then what I really like on these as well, what's up, dude? What are you doing? What are you looking at over there? What I really like on these is they do have holes on them. I have seen people hang them just from strings, trellises all the way across, which is really cool. So there's lots of options that you could do with these guys. So I personally like the setup on the wall. It is out of my way, and it's right here in the kitchen for me with all my click and grows, and then I'll have other things. I'm filling up my kitchen so that we can feed the homeless and the Boys and Girls Club, and so my kids can learn how to do all the gardening and everything. So that is basically the setup. That is the 2-tower setup for the 5-foot. They come in 5 and 3 foot, and then they come in 2, 4, and 8 pieces. Each one is going to be a different price, of course. And overall, yeah, I give it 8 out of 10 currently, just for the fact that of the few issues not coming with directions, but they are online. And then it not being sealed, which I can seal it, and then it doesn't have the little plug, which I can buy it. So all of these issues that I am having are very minor issues. It's clearly put together and super easy. And then I did have an issue because I couldn't figure out what this was for. Couldn't figure it out in the videos because they did a different video showing this product, and they made no mention of it in your assembly video, that this would be talked about in another video, at least from what I saw. So I emailed them on Facebook and I was like, hey, what is this thing? And they promptly emailed me back, which they always do. Their Facebook customer service is super easy and fast. And they told me that it was for planting in, and then they sent me a link to see where that was, which was super easy and helpful. And so now I can show you that. So guys, that's pretty much everything for the unboxing and assembly. Guys, my Sphinx is beating up my normal cat. that is pretty much everything on the assembly and the setup for you. I will be back whenever my plants either sprout and I plant them in this guy, or I buy some off of Amazon and I hook them up in there. I am going to try different plants. I plan right now, it is November 2nd, 2016. So we are going to be planting kale, collards, and spinach is my plan, more of the fall crops. I might do some broccoli or cauliflower, but the only issue with that is cauliflower, you can only plant 4 per line. And when cauliflower takes a long time and you only get 1 or 2 or 3 off of it, I know they don't produce as much. It seems like a huge waste, in my opinion, for me, because my kids love broccoli and cauliflower, like love it, they will eat it all day. That for me, this is going to be better served growing collards and kale and spinach, because my kids can eat as much as they want, and hopefully I can keep up with them. They are 3, 5, 6, and 8 years old, and they absolutely love kale and collards. They will eat it right off the bushes, and normally I don't keep it in stock, but I'm hoping that this will prove to be very effective in keeping them well fed and continue to produce so that I can feed the food bank as well. So guys, feel free to leave me a comment down below on what you think of this system, the pros, the cons. The only con that I can see, because it does hold up to, I believe, 250 pounds, the only con that I can see is my location, and you can plant these indoors or outdoors, so that is just on me. But just because I had to move my kitchen table to show you this, I feel like the kids walking past it is going to be an issue, but I think that they're going to get used to it pretty quickly. So otherwise, I don't see it's going to be a big deal. I think it'll work out just fine, and I'm super excited to grow in this. I really am. I absolutely love gardening, and ever since our house burned down and we had to move and we cannot have a garden and animals, farm animals here, I've found ways to improvise, and growing indoors and in buckets is a really great thing. So apartment living, this would be awesome because you can plant it outside as well. You can put it on the wall outside if you're not allowed to drill into the walls at your rental place. There are also videos showing you how to build a plywood setup or a wood setup on wheels, so that you can put it freestanding in your home, and then you can just move it with the light. This one does not come with the light like a few others that I have gotten to purchase and do reviews on later on. But this one is positioned at a window as well as my back door. It's going to get tons of sun, and if not, I have a light here. My click and grows have lights, and there's definitely a lot of light to be gotten here as well. So that is one other thing to consider, that you will need light for it. And again, I did get this item at 15% off in exchange for a series of reviews, which I was very happy to do. This system, I believe, for this one, retailed at $379, I believe. And so not a huge deal as far as money. I think it's very well priced. But in my opinion, if I'm going to pay that much money, I wish it was pre-assembled, just because it's a little bit time consuming. Hooking it to the wall was no big deal. The only thing I had to buy for that was the screws. I already had the drill. Like I said, my husband's construction. We did have to buy a level because my kids actually broke ours. So we had to buy a level. But otherwise, the only tools that you need are a pair of scissors for the zip ties to trim them down. You can use a knife or whatever, and then a wrench and a socket to hook up the nuts and bolts and screws, and then scissors or a knife to cut the tubing that might be too long. And then of course have extra caulking if they don't include it, because you may end up needing it, and otherwise you're good to go. And then we used a power drill. So any questions, comments, feel free to leave them down below for me. And if you have any suggestions or input or anything you would like to see me grow come spring, I'm planning on trying to grow in this 24/7, 365. I'm going to start with the fall crop, and then we will move on to the spring crop. I have seen people grow tomatoes even in here, peppers, all kinds of stuff. So if you want to see me grow anything specific, and it's something my family will eat, I am more than happy to try to grow it. So leave me your input, and I will see you guys in a couple weeks when I get some things planted in here. Bye guys.